Previously on Safety in Numbers, 7 college students began an online competition where they will socialize and strategize with each other over Zoom calls and clash against one another in intense online challenges, all from the safety and comfort of their own homes. Tonight, the contestants are stranded with nowhere left to hide in a surprise double elimination. 2 contestants will be eliminated in back-to-back elimination rooms. Who will win the challenge and how will the numbers change? Find out right now on Safety in Numbers.
So, obviously, for the first vote, there was a girls' alliance with David also to vote out Joe. And the plan was to maintain the 4-girl alliance to the final 4 and vote out Matt in the first vote tonight and David in the second vote tonight.
I mean, yesterday before the vote, I was really worried that they had been lying to us and that I was going home. I really thought that could have happened. And, when the vote was 5-2, it easily could have been 5-2 me and Joe.
I might have to Zoom using my phone. My audio isn't connecting or something like that to Zoom.
That's really
so
weird.
We can hear you, though.
You don't, have the volume down on your laptop, right?
Oh my god!
Are you literally kidding?
Because we can hear you!
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Why is that the funniest thing ever?
Grace. Are you kidding me?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Absolute loser.
Oh my
Loser.
god. Right.
Crazy, Grace.
I, however, was feeling nervous about that because I know that Grace and Kathryn are close, and Kathryn has David, so they could potentially flip and vote me out tonight. Just because it's a possibility, and if I was them, I would do that.
Today we have to tell the girls that we're good with it's Matt and David.
What they did is last week they made an alliance of 5 going into a double. So that means their alliance can only last 1 tribal. There has to be a crack somewhere. If I had to guess, it's got to be the girls, right? So it's got to be David's got to be the most obvious weak link because he has to know that it's me and him going home tonight if nothing happens. He's got to know that. So I need him to text me back so we can work something out.
So I really hope Grace and or Kathryn are not playing us, but that was the plan from even before last night's vote.
Oh.
What's up, girl power?
And it's just bewildering the fact that we're all so calm. I think that it does scare me a little that we're all so calm about what's happening, but
We're gleeks.
I needed to Zoom with them to feel some form of trust, and now I think that I do, because I really it does make me worried about Grace and Kathryn possibly branching off with David to vote off either me or Kaylee tonight at the double elimination.
I'm so excited. I'm so
Getting
excited.
ready. We're getting ready to end men.
Yes!
I love ending men.
Oh my
love
god.
ending men. Oh, it's so good.
I'm so
nervous.
Even though we are kind of wary of what could happen, we're still really solid with the Girls Alliance, so I don't think we're going to change anything, because I think, well, at least for me and Meaghan, we're scared to try to change anything because it could really come back to bite us and hurt us in a major way, so we're kind of just letting it happen.
I don't know, I talk to them and I do trust them. The thing that makes me trust Grace is that she always says that she hates men, and, that's a fun way to approach this game.
Whatever works, guys, because we're running it.
I love all women. Y'all know how much I hate men. I love that it's...
I know, this is literally the best possible outcome
Yeah,
that I could have imagined in this.
truly.
So
I hate when men have ideas.
I
I'm
hate
sorry,
it.
Ben, don't put that in.
No, put it in. Keep it in. I hate it when men think things. When men start thinking, it gets dangerous. That's all I'm saying. They can get up to no good. And then if they start reading books, God, that's...
If they're illiterate, it's over. It's over.
And with Kathryn, it's just, I don't think that she really, she's not a huge Survivor fan, so I I can't imagine her like being too into strategy. And I think that she might get Oh, this is gonna sound mean. I think she might get overwhelmed.
It's gonna be
Why
so
is this-
funny.
This is literally a pretend game. Why am I so nervous?
Exactly. So basically, the girls' plan is to have all of us vote for Matt with David, except Kathryn will vote for herself to prevent Matt from voting for himself and saving himself.
The plan's in place, I guess, for just Kathryn to vote herself, and then it's gonna work, I guess. I don't know. It makes me so nervous that he hasn't reached out to any of you guys. Like,
Same. Like, he still
Yeah.
hasn't reached out to any of you.
Like, what is his plan? What, like,
I
is
think he's just giving up. Like, I
I
think
don't
he
see
knows.
him as someone to give up, though.
I don't know. He might
That's
just
what
be
worries
so
me.
pissed about the first vote that he's like, we don't really have a plan. It's just, we don't really know what happens at that point.
Yeah. And, like, it's one thing where we can, like, think ahead and be like, oh, like, at the double elimination, like, we could try to get rid of either Kathryn or Grace instead of, like, David or Matt, whoever doesn't get out first. Like, it would be, like, I don't know how easy it would be to do that, but it just feels like, and we talked about this, like, me and Kaylee, it would be too much too quick.
Yeah.
I need to find the crack, so I need to be careful, because if I start flailing around, then they'll start talking to each other, you know?
Unless Matt has talked to him, I really think it'll be easy to, like, you know?
So I need to, if there's cracks, I need to make precise strikes at the cracks.
I don't feel like I'm scrambling, you know?
You know who is scrambling? Matt.
Very precise hits right where I think the cracks might be to break it, or else I'm just going to be smacking parts that aren't cracked, and then they'll know I'm smacking them, you know?
Like, what? I guess I guess Meaghan was right. Like, I guess his strategy is just, like, okay, don't even reach out for everybody. And, like, vote for himself, and then he is immune.
Then I'll just vote for myself and hope that they're stupid and forget the rule, I guess. If I think I can suss out who they're going to vote for as a scapegoat, then maybe I'll throw my vote that way and hope they fuck up somehow.
Oh, God. I'm so nervous that he's going to reach out to Meaghan and Kaylee.
Oh, you know he will.
It's suspicious that he hasn't.
I know.
Let's put it this way. I've sent out lines, but like a fisherman. And I'm not getting any bites just yet.
We're all saying that Matt hasn't reached out to us. But it makes no sense for him to not talk to anybody and just give up. Because he did reach out to me, but I lied to them and said no. And they all believed it. So they could easily be doing the same exact thing.
It's also just crazy because we've been, like, looking out for Matt to reach out to one of us. And this morning he reached out to Kaylee, but we didn't say that in the Zoom. And she, like, really did a good job of not showing it. And I don't think that we're gonna do anything with Matt because it just wouldn't make sense with the trust that we're feeling right now. But it's just, you know, a little scary. So I'm yeah, I'm nervous.
It's like if we try to betray Grace and Kathryn when they were still being genuine to us, that's not going to be good for anybody.
Yeah, and it's like you have to think about the jury too, because if we did a big move and they ended up on the jury, that wouldn't be good for us.
I mean, my ideal plan would be that Kaylee gets on board with me or that David gets on board with me. And then at Tribal, I'll just put on a face. But I mean, the same face I'd have if I didn't have the plan, you know, the kind of, I'm going out, they complimenting, you know, being nice, but being, you know, I can't trust them, obviously.
The only possibility I can think of is that, like, if Grace and Kathryn decide to go along with David instead of me or Meaghan, then that could save David. But, and also with, like, the twist you added about you can vote for yourself, we talked about that because our plan is to vote Matt out in the first vote. But we're assuming that he's going to think that it's going to be unanimous against him based on yesterday's vote. So we're thinking he's probably going to vote for himself to try to save himself. So we're planning on having one of our people vote for themselves in order to make sure that that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So we had a Zoom meeting with the Girls Alliance, and I was really nervous. And Meaghan and I said, okay, based on what they say in that Zoom meeting, we'll determine if we try to make a move tonight or if we stick with the Girls Alliance.
It's mostly just being defensive is what I'm going to be doing in tribal, and knowing I'm going home. Especially if there's no plan, knowing I'm going home, it'll be sort of it's obvious, I think, to everybody involved. If they don't crack, I'm going home. So maybe I'll throw wrenches in their alliance. Maybe I'll let them know that it's a double elimination. So in 20 minutes, one of them is going home, and they better figure out who quick.
It's scary too because like a thing to think about with like when we get to 4 is like if we do get to 4 and it's the girls, like I think that the people like I think Grace is gonna go after Kaylee just like we're going after her, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's another thing I'm really worried about is I feel like Grace and Kathryn are gonna go after me as soon as they can.
I have a bad feeling, but I don't wanna say whether I think it's gonna go one way or not, because I don't want to speak it into existence until we have our calls with David and the girls.
They seem perfectly fine. I am no longer scared that they're trying to blindside me. But that does leave me room to make a move on them, because I know they're not doing something behind my back, based on how I feel about our meeting today.
Today's challenge is a Connect 4 tournament. In round 1, we have Kaylee against Meaghan and Kathryn against David. Let's see who wins.
okay, we just started our Connect 4 game. I'm not very good at Connect 4. I ran a Connect 4 tournament in high school, but I got out in like the first or second round. It was intense. The thing about this game that always gets me is I have to think ahead a lot, and I'm not that great at that sometimes. Especially when it's just like strategic. Oh, I lost the club. I'm an idiot. I didn't look at the left of the board.
In the semifinals, we have Kaylee against Matt and Grace against David.
Oh, also Meaghan and I talked about this. If it ends up with me, well, I didn't talk specifically about this, but we did say.
Are you gonna let Grace win if you get there?
Yeah.
Yes.
We want Grace to win immunity again. That way, it'll be easier for us if the Girls Alliance actually makes it to the 4, like we said. It'll be easier for us to convince Kathryn to vote Grace out because she would be seen as a bigger threat for winning the first 2 challenges. So if it comes down to me and Grace in the finals for this, there's a solid chance I might let her win.
Yeah, and you gotta like really like not let it seem like letting her win.
I will. Yeah, when he asked me to join the voice call, he's like I joined and he's like, hey, what's up? Okay, I'm sending you the link. And then he sent it to me, and then it was just like silence for the entire 6 minutes that we played the game. And then at the end I was like, good game, and he goes, good game. And then it's just like Matt left. And I was like, that was so wild. Why did we need to be in a voice chat for that?
I have like pit in my stomach.
I know. I've been like sweating all day about this, which is so dumb, but you're killing me. I'm.
Oh, okay. Damn.
I was sweating. That was a good game, my guy.
And in the final round, we have Grace against Matt.
Like I hope you all know that it was so incredibly stressful. I was having heart palpitations the entire time during the game. I messed up once and he didn't even see it. He didn't see like the messed up move.
I should have won Connect Four, so I shouldn't have.
When I saw Grace won in the chat, I almost burst through the roof.
When that happened, like I hope you all know that it was so incredibly stressful. I was having heart palpitations the entire time during the game.
I texted David and I texted Kaylee. David never responded to my text messages. And Kaylee is sort of giving me the, one of these. Just, it's sort of the deflecting and not receptive to my needlings,
When I talked to him, he seemed like he genuinely wanted to find somebody to work with, because he said he didn't even trust Joe that much. He was just kind of forced into working with Joe at the beginning, because he could tell that Grace and Kathryn weren't telling the truth, and he just didn't know what to do. So he just stuck with Joe, hoping it wouldn't be him. Matt said he almost voted for himself just to save himself, just in case.
All right, Kaylee. We're going to keep it short and sweet to the point here. I have devised a plan. We're not going to pretend we're not going to beat around the bush here. I'm clearly the obvious vote for tonight, which is double elimination, which is unfortunate for me.
Yes.
And I lost immunity to Grace, which is also unfortunate for me. So, I come up with a plan that, if it works for me, is great. And if it doesn't really affect you all that much. We've just kind of been playing, verbal chess.
And then he was telling me, I tried to talk to David, he hasn't responded, and he's like, I don't trust Grace and Kathryn, because, obviously they already lied to me and Joe. He's like, I don't really know Meaghan. He's like, I'm assuming she's closer with you than she would be with me, so you're really my only option. Which, makes sense in my head.
Complimenting the plan last week and sort of being feeling out alliances, seeing if I can find a crack anywhere to assert myself in. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. It's just me feeling for cracks. If I can't find one with Kaylee, I'll move to Grace or something.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, my plan is that you're obviously talking to everybody else because all five of you voted Joe. So, I'm assuming you're still in contact and all five of you want to vote me, but you can't because I know that. So I would just vote myself. So one of you has to vote for somebody else so that it's not unanimous. So all you have to do, Kaylee, is find out who is that scapegoat vote, and then me and you vote for that person as well, and we force a tie. If it comes to it, it won't. There's enough people that it won't matter if I guess right. As long as if the five of them talk and they pick a scapegoat, say they pick Meaghan, and I know it's Meaghan. Even if I vote Meaghan, it doesn't matter. I still lose 4-2.
He was like, well, you guys know that if you all vote for me, I'm obviously voting for myself, and then I'm safe. And I was like, well, yeah, we have a plan for that. And he's like, so you have a scapegoat? And I was like, well, maybe. Because at first I did not want to tell him anything. Because I was really confident with the girls after our talk. And then after I thought about it, and I was like, well, this could be my chance to better myself in this game. Because as of right now, I'm getting 4th place, which is not acceptable.
So they're comfortable with me. It's the next tribal, it would get interesting. But even then, not really, because there's no immunity. So it's the same situation. So I'd have to guess their scapegoat at tribal and have somebody else. I mean, if nobody gets back to me by tribal, there's nothing I can do.
This could actually work out
It
because
could.
we have already planned who the scapegoat vote is going to be.
Okay, who's the scapegoat vote? Is it David?
One of the girls is voting for themselves.
Which one? Well, it's gotta be. Well, if you already planned the scapegoat vote, that's unfortunate because you can't manipulate it anymore.
No, but it would work out in our favor because me, you, and Meaghan could all vote for this person, and then that's 4 votes for that person.
Okay, well then we'll all vote Kathryn.
Yeah, and then I told him, yeah, one of the girls is voting for themselves. And he's like, okay, well, it's obviously not Grace. And he's like, I'm assuming it's not you because you don't want me to vote you out. So it's either Meaghan or Kathryn. And I was like, yeah, it's Kathryn.
And then the three of us vote David, and then we just have to beat Grace next week.
No, I think we should vote Grace out in the second vote if we're going to do that, because she only has to
yeah.
for the first
That's
one.
true. Yeah, let's do that then. Kathryn and Grace.
I like this, except I'm going to feel really bad. What Matt and I talked about is if me, Matt, and Meaghan all vote for Kathryn, that's 4 votes on Kathryn, and Kathryn would be voted out. Grace would lose her immunity for the second vote, and then me, Matt, and Meaghan would have a majority because that's 3 versus 2, and we would vote Grace out in the second vote tonight.
If I can't do anything in the next 2 hours, if I can't do in the next 2.5 hours, there's nothing I can really do but go home.
My final 4 for actual like Survivor right now is all women. Like, so this is just like parallels. Like, it works. It all works.
Life imitates art.
Yes.
Exactly. It's what I want in the world, and I'm putting it forth.
I got a text from Kaylee basically saying, like, oh, I talked to Matt. Can you Zoom? Big things might be happening. And I was like, oh God. And, like, it hurts my heart because I think I know what's going to happen. And that's going to be we're going to vote out Kathryn first because she's going to be writing her own name down.
We told Kaylee and Meaghan way too early that Kathryn would be voting for herself. It's because we were feeling way too confident in our Girls Alliance right after the last vote.
This is so hard because I'm so worried about the Girls Alliance because I know that they're immediately going to go for me. I'm worried that they're going to go for me tonight behind my back.
Here's what we can do. We can do me, you, Meaghan, and tell David to vote himself. Right? Or anybody to vote just as a scapegoat vote so I don't get voted out, right? Well, I'll vote that person. We'll get him out. And then me, you, Meaghan, vote Grace. Because Grace wins immunity every goddamn time.
I know. She's the one that I'm really, really worried about.
Yeah. Then after tonight, it would be me, you, Meaghan, and Kathryn left.
We felt so secure in that, and now looking back on that, we were like, we both have now acknowledged that we have left far too much time in between them telling them that plan and now for them to scramble and then have 3 versus 3 of our alliance with David and them 3 if Matt decides to turn them.
Okay. I have the feeling I know what's happening. I'm gonna guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we gonna vote out Kathryn first?
Yeah.
That's like, listen, I was like, that is the only logical thing that could happen, right? Like.
Yeah. Okay. So.
We had a FaceTime with the 4 of them today, and afterwards, I texted Kathryn, and I was like, what's the vibe? And she's like, I feel really good. I feel really confident. And I'm like, that's really funny, because I got a twinge of they're playing us. And it's one of those things, it comes down to, we have no idea, and we've made backup plans for our backup plan.
And he's like, all right, but hear me out. Like, how do you feel about actually being in the Final 4 with only the girls? Because, like, realistically, what's going to happen once you're in the Final 4? And I was like, well, I know they're going to be going for me immediately, so that's why, like, yeah, it's great, but do I want to get 4th place? No. It's like, okay.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things where it would be, like, the 2 of us voting for Grace, and then Grace and Kathryn voting for you. Like,
exactly.
And, like none of
Grace
us would
could
bend
win immunity again, and then I'm just screwed.
Yeah, unless we, like, actually got Kathryn to, like, come with us, but, you know,
exactly.
I don't...
Like,
currently we're thinking, worst case scenario, if we get a weird vibe in tribal of them like working with Matt whatsoever, Kathryn's going to switch her vote to not for herself, but for also for Matt, so that it'll be 3-on-3, and then it'll be a tied vote.
We have options.
Yeah.
So, after talking with Matt, I told him that Kathryn's voting for herself. With the first vote. And he's like, and then I was like, so if me, you, and Matt all vote for Kathryn, that's 4 votes for Kathryn. Kathryn's gone.
Oh, God.
Grace would go
like, it hurts me.
I know.
So we have been talking about how we want things to go. And we've been putting motions in place to ensure that they go that way. You can never ensure that things go that way. So if people find out that we've been talking to other people and telling people different things, then they'll say it and destroy us. So
I would love to, and I don't know if this would be possible. This is probably, like, risky, and I'm already disagreeing with myself on this. I'm gonna say it anyway. If we voted out Kathryn and then voted out Matt.
I can't believe that all this happened, and it makes me so anxious, and it legitimately hurts my heart because I'm feeling like I don't want to betray Grace and Kathryn. I really don't. But it would be a smarter move.
Okay, I'm thinking that obviously Grace and Kathryn are going to be very upset on the jury if I stab them in the back and vote them out. But realistically, it's part of the game, and I know that if I make it to the finals where that's even an issue, where I would have to do that to them.
But I don't know, it almost would work to my benefit if, I guess it works to my benefit. It would get me probably further in the game. I don't actually know. Okay, I have to think about this. It might get me further in the game if...
I'll be able to rationalize that, because if I tell them I had to make a decision on where I'm going in the Final Four, and this is a personal game, the fact that we're friends outside of this game cannot affect my decisions.
If it was the 4 girls as the Final Four, the people that would be targeted would be Grace and Kaylee, but not me. So I would definitely probably get to the Final 3, maybe even the Final 2. But I would get there having not made any big moves to earn me the winning title.
So I have 2 choices. Either way, I'm going to the Final Four.
I don't know which would be better, because that would make a bigger move for me that I did, but it's not me that's controlling it, it's Kaylee, and I don't think that... I have a lot to think about.
This is so intense. And here's the thing that worries me. I've said before that I'm not really here to win, which I don't think is the right attitude to have. I mean, I am here to win. You know?
Yeah.
I would like to win. It would be cool. However, I don't think that I have done a whole lot here. You know what I mean?
And this would be your chance to make a big move.
I know, but still yours.
Not really, because you're in on it.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt communicated with me, but I'm the one telling you, and ultimately you and I are the ones deciding which way we're voting tonight.
Yeah.
So it's an equal thing for both of us.
Okay. Oh.
I got homework to do, and I got moves to make and games to play. Ben will my lines have been cast, and we'll see what I can reel in. How's that sound? Everybody's in the same boat. I think it's equally beneficial for everybody. Nobody is more benefited or less benefited by it.
Yeah.
Well, other than me not being voted up this time, but
Meaghan and I will probably, we'll tell Matt that we're going with him, but what I'm guessing is going to happen is Meaghan and I will talk after that, and we'll go, okay, we'll decide at Tribal based on what we hear, and the fact that Grace and Kathryn will be pissed at me and Meaghan when they're on the jury, but...
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all good here. This is... I don't know David at all. I like this. I mean, Kathryn's saying...
Yeah.
It's good. I think we're good, but...
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm completely fine with getting David out. I'm worried about him.
Hopefully they'll be pissed and it turns into respect.
Exactly.
I mean that happens a lot on the jury. I mean,
yeah.
how could you not understand the move that was made? You know.
I really want this group to actually work out. If you guys want me,
for real.
pissed.
Fully.
Yes.
Fully.
It's one of those things that I'm slightly panicking, but at this point, I can do nothing else besides for trust Kaylee and Meaghan, who, if they're playing us, they're doing a damn good job.
I like to think that I can read people pretty well. I don't know how well it is over video chat. But I feel like we're gonna be able to tell. I think the things that they're gonna say are gonna agree with what we've agreed upon. But I think that we're gonna be able to tell. I think they're gonna trip themselves up if they're actually not for that.
I have not made a final decision yet.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried.
We have options.
Yeah.
We have 1 minute. This is it.
This is it, ladies. Girl power.
Ending
No more men after this. Matt, David. That's it.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
All right.
See you guys then.
Bye, Lee.
Okay.
Tonight there will be 2 elimination rooms back to back. At tonight's elimination rooms, each contestant will vote for whom they want to be eliminated. Since Grace won immunity, she's safe for the first vote and only for the first vote. After the first person leaves, the contestants will not have another chance at immunity, and everyone's name will be on the chopping block. The contestants will be given very little time to formulate in Zoom calls of their choosing to strategize in between both votes. After that, the surviving contestants will meet up in the second elimination room of the night. What do you do to get out of the bottom?
Well, certainly it's not easy. I had to, put out a couple of fishing lines and see if anybody bit. It's not looking good for me, Ben. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm not really in the mood to shake things up a whole lot, to be honest. Not much else to say. It's just an easy vote.
Well, like you said before, you kind of talked about the dynamic of the vote 5 versus 2, and we kind of can tell which way that went. So I think that kind of puts me in a different box than other contestants. I've reached out to people, I've talked and made some connections. I'm confident in which way I think it might go.
Considering it was a 5-2 vote, it puts you in the same box as everybody else, as it's now 5, and there's no clear cut divisions or anything. So, I mean, I'm assuming that you all have a plan for once it's the 5 of you.
I mean, I was in different boxes, and you voted one way, I voted another. Your way didn't go the way you wanted. Mine did, or at least everyone else was on the same page. Not that I wanted a certain way, but it's just the way I voted. And then having a plan or not, I mean, maybe I don't have a plan. Maybe I want you to think I don't have a plan, and that's my plan. Maybe it's working, but there's a plan.
What is the dichotomy of this 5 that makes this plan so confident for David?
I think for me, it's just like I haven't spoken to Matt since the vote, so I don't know, just like who you're talking to, I guess. There is no real like dichotomy.
We were kind of all expecting Matt to try to reach out to us, and then he didn't. So it's not even really a plan. It's kind of just common sense.
There's 5 of them all together, and then I'm kind of hanging on the outside. And if anybody wanted to make a move, they should have reached out to me, right, to try to swing a majority so it would be easier, right? So they say, I haven't reached out to people. People also haven't reached out to me in order to handle that 5 easier. So it would seem to me that there's at least 3 people extremely confident. So I think that at least one person in this group of 5 is not going to see something coming, or they haven't been paying close enough attention, because it's not. If no one has reached out to me, I can only assume that they're doing it within themselves, and somebody hasn't been doing a lot of communicating this week.
I think that there's more of like people that are viewed as threats versus people that aren't viewed as threats, and that is probably like going forward what the votes will be based on, but there really is no way to tell right now.
I kind of don't see it as like threats. I'm really about like the connections that you make with people, so just like if I think someone's being genuine, you know what I mean, I'm gonna obviously trust them.
I mean, it's just hard hearing all 5 people say they're extremely confident, right? Because somebody's not appropriate amount of confidence. Somebody is wrong, because I put my trust in the group we had last week, right? And that bit me and Joe in the ass, did it not?
Like with the games and stuff, I think it's kind of more of like, again, it's like kind of luck. So I don't know if there's necessarily like a threat level.
I think that there's got to be obvious. Like Grace has won 2 challenges in a row. It's only been 2, and there's only 2 more.
I think that I'm not sure what Matt is getting from all this, if not for just trying to piss people off and rile them up by doing this.
I think what's going on here is a very classic Survivor tactic where someone knows that they're in trouble and they're trying to stir stuff up. So, like, yeah, you can point out what you think are problems and flaws, but maybe you just don't know because you're not a part of it.
I just think like the concept of having to win games to make moves is like interesting to me, because like winning the games isn't the entire competition, and if you're like, I don't know, just an odd concept.
I think that the amount of skill it takes to win the game is not necessarily relevant to the fact that you already won the game. So when you're sitting in the final 2 and everybody's looking at who should win, if you won 3 of the 4 games, that's going to sit strongly in your favor.
I mean, that should be obvious to everyone here. There's 2 votes tonight. That means that 2 people are going home. That we might have one easy vote on the table, but that means there's another one afterwards.
If you're surprised by something that happens tonight, then you don't know how to play Survivor, because like somebody's going to be surprised no matter what. That's just what happens.
You can never get comfortable. You really just can't. Like that. That's what I've learned. Like you just can't.
It's kind of late to plead my case. It's also kind of the only thing I can do now is try to sabotage other people for the future. Right? I have to put seeds of doubt. I have to make cracks now, so that when they crack, the people who I don't want to win don't win. I'm just saying nobody can be entirely comfortable because I'm sure Joe was entirely comfortable 2 days ago, and now he's muted, sitting in the jury. So being comfortable is not exactly the best thing.
Matt, because right off the bat he was very aggressive, pulling a few cards, but they weren't there, and kind of wrote me into his little, once I'm going down, you're going out with me. So, I mean, he can go down. I might go down too, but I'm not going down in his account.
Kathryn, because I threw out my bait, Ben, and we'll see if it comes back to me. That's all I gotta say.
For Matt, because he needs to be out of the game.
I'm voting for Kathryn because I gotta look forward to the rest of my game and really just take care of myself before I take care of the rest of the girls.
I am voting for Kathryn tonight because it makes more sense for me personally to backstab her and blindside her tonight, and I'm very sorry. I'll feel terrible about it for the rest of my life.
I am voting for Kathryn myself. And if this comes back to bite me, I will be bad. So future Kathryn, if it does, you're an idiot.
Okay, by a vote of 4-2, Kathryn, you have been eliminated. You may leave the Zoom call. Really tough. Everyone, how does it sound? Take a 20-minute break and then come back. No one's immune. During these 20 minutes, anyone can talk. Do what you got to do.
I'm really not gonna lie to you. That entire tribal, they had me, and they shouldn't have, because they were too sure. And they were too sure about what they were doing. They were too sure. I should have known. Matt doesn't strike me as somebody, I've been saying this all day. Matt does not strike me as somebody to lay down and die, like at all.
I have 4 different Facebook groups open between the eliminations. The double eliminations. I hate this.
I don't want to see David or Matt get to the final.
Oh my, it would make me so angry.
Yeah.
I'm still here to end men.
So are you guys okay with doing Matt first then?
Yeah.
I just don't trust the guy. I just want him out.
Yeah, we only need him for this one,
Yeah, we only needed him to do this one.
Matt, I think the biggest thing that happened last tribal was we talked about you were on the bottom.
Yeah.
But we also talked about how, Grace was saying and others were saying, it could be the first vote or the second vote. Does it make you a little more anxious that you're still in right now?
I think it's healthy to be anxious, right? Because you never know how it's going to go. But I'm definitely feeling better than I was last tribal council. That's for sure. I'm more confident now than I was then. Let's put it that way.
In fact, I know what I'm doing. So, and I just hope who I've talked to reaches, keeps their point up.
Absolutely. I got a message from legitimately every single person. I don't blame people for scrambling. I think that was probably like one of the bigger moves in the game that just happened, like not in terms of like it was surprising to a lot of people, I think. And it's, a shift. Got to figure out where to go from there.
To speak to the scramble, Ben, my plan after the first tribal council was to go take my dog outside and, get a glass of water, come back upstairs and sit on the jury muted. And much to my surprise, I go downstairs, not really sure what just happened, to 6 messages on my phone, one also from David, which we don't have to talk about if you don't want to. It was a mad everybody's scrambling. Nobody's really sure what's going on. And it's fun, man. I'm having fun.
Well, I think most of the people were surprised by the last vote, and that's why all the scrambling happened. And even for people who the last vote went the way they thought it would, there's still scrambling to be done. And I really don't think any one of us should think we know what's about to happen. I mean, we can all hope it's going to go the way we think it's going to go with the people we just scrambled with. But I have no idea. I feel 0% confident right now. That's what I'm going to say.
I just wanted to say that last tribal council, I said that there was a 0% chance. I was surprised by what happened, and I was blissfully ignorant at the time. So I'd like to rescind that comment and say that I was officially surprised. You got me.
At this point, since so many people have been surprised now of what's going on and what's being laid, again, even if you don't know what's going to happen, you have to put your hope and trust into what makes sense the most for you.
Who can I put my trust in? Who could I put my trust in before? Nobody. Sometimes you gotta make a leap, and you have to put some modicum of trust in people who tell you something, and it becomes a point of no return, right? So you just gotta saddle up and do what you have to do. So can I put my trust in people? Am I 100% confident that I can put my trust in anybody? No, but I have to put my trust in somebody, right? So that's what I'm gonna have to do.
I'm worried about surviving this vote. At this current moment, I am not thinking about anything other than who can I trust at this very moment to get me through this.
You know, the people that I've talked to today, they could either go with one option or another option.
I'm just happy, I suppose, that I didn't get voted out, but still nervous because I can get voted out right now.
I don't know what else to say at this point, besides we'll have to see how the vote goes down.
Oh, my stomach just dropped. Kaylee, she seems to be pulling the strings, on some sort, very strategic. As soon as you reach out, she has like a plan, and it's let's say it's not genuine, but it's like, you're safe for now, but work with me, and then we'll do this. And it's just suspicious. I don't know, Kaylee.
I'm voting for Grace because I guess I'm just full of lies, and later on I will be full of cries. I'm very upset by this.
Going to vote for Grace because I think that winning 2 immunity challenges is nothing to sneeze at. And when it comes down to final 2, if it's me and Grace, unless I win the next 2, it'd be a very high point in her favor. She also admitted to me that she was the one that got the Girls Alliance together, which if all the girls are voted out and it's me and Grace sitting at the end, they're all going to know that she pulled those strings to get here. It just makes more sense to me to vote Grace than to vote any other way. And also because she betrayed me last week and it feels good.
I'm voting for Kaylee. I'm laughing at this entirely. I think I'm going home tonight.
Oh God, I don't know what to do right now. So the plan is for me, Meaghan, and Matt to vote Grace. And we also told David, but I know that Grace, Matt, and David had a Zoom meeting, and their plan is to vote me. So David could go either way. And Grace has a plan with me and Meaghan to vote Matt. So Grace is either voting for Matt or me. David is either voting for me or Grace. Matt is either voting for me or Grace. So the thing I'm worried about is if Grace thinks that we're all just going for her, which she's smart, so I'm thinking she'll vote for herself and then she's safe, and then that's really scary. So I want to put a vote on someone else as a backup, but that could just ruin everything, and then I could be the one that's gone. So I have no idea. Oh my God. My vote is for Matt as a throwaway vote in case Grace votes for herself.
We have a tie vote. It is 2-1. We have 2 votes on Kaylee and 2 votes on Grace, which means we will have a revote. Matt will vote, Meaghan will vote, and David will vote, and you can either vote for Kaylee or Grace. I think this is a good moment. Kaylee and Grace, I'm going to give you 2 a minute if you want to plead your case.
The one thing I'll say to David and Matt is obviously we all know that Kaylee and Meaghan are a pair. They're going to go to the end together. They will target anyone who stands in their way. Me, I'm a free agent. Kaylee, we know, is not. That's all I'll say.
For pleading my case. So, the plan going into this, Matt, David, I talked to you, but you did not listen. So, do whatever you want, I guess. I'll plead my case to Matt, because, so we had a plan going into this. And the reason I got freaked out is because I was worried that all of the votes would be on Grace. And so I threw away a vote, basically. I promise I'm still with you guys. I did not, do anything ridiculous. But I promise you, we are still good. Also, Grace has won the first 2 challenges. We know she's a threat. Who's to say she won't win the other 2 and just put herself in the finals? And if you want to be sitting in the finals next to Grace, you are not playing this game the right way.
So I'm still voting for Kaylee. I thought about maybe rethinking it after the tie, but even just the final plea, Grace was a lot more. I mean, I know it's a game and it's strategic, but just the way how Kaylee kind of demanded, she only talked to Matt. I didn't listen to her, so I'm disregarded and thrown to the side. Not a team player. Want to call the shots. We'll take anyone down. We'll do whatever. I know I went against her, but that was also my plan. So, but at least smile and put a fake smile on.
I am once again voting for Grace because I don't know why it didn't work the last time.
2 hours ago, I was on the bottom, and here I am, all the power. I've lost the final vote. It's poetic, is it not, Ben? I am going to stick with my original vote and vote for Grace. Grace made good points. Kaylee and Meaghan are a strong pair, but I think that since they've done everything together, trying to convince one that they can't beat the other sounds fun to me. That's the only reason. Is Grace, I don't know what Grace is playing. She's by herself, but I know that Meaghan and Kaylee probably want to be at the end together, and I think I would have a good time convincing them that that's not a good idea.
By a vote of 2-1, Grace, you have been eliminated from safety in numbers. You can leave the Zoom call. So we're down to the final 4. I think that was a very brutal 2 eliminations, and I think we've learned a lot. Dead men walking, coming back. Congratulations to our final 4, Matt, David, Kaylee, and Meaghan. Good luck, everyone. Thanks so much.
Being with 2 people who are together feels more solid. I was tempted to believe Kaylee and the girls, but yeah. I think they did a very good job of convincing Matt that he just made a move. I think my biggest mistake in the game was winning the first 2 challenges in a row. I should have just thrown one of them.